Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla coming back to ya with another episode of Car Rides with Schla. I guess I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. Kinda didn't really have things set up properly or give myself enough time to really set things up and just feel off. I feel off and I'm trying to figure out what's going on and why I feel the way I feel, all this stuff. I wanted to try out the microphone because I have a feeling if I have it closer to my face that it could actually outdo the headset mic that I have. So I'm super curious about experimenting with that, but it's a little bit difficult too, and it's also a little bit too distracting. So I don't know that I'm going to do that, mainly because of the visual intrusion that it has. I don't think that it's worth it. And this probably isn't a great sign, but for some reason recently I've just been thinking a lot about is anybody else just sick of themselves? Does that make sense? It's like you get older and you go through so much, and it's just I don't know. When you're younger, things feel like a clean slate. Or I'm going to try to illustrate at least how I feel. And this is probably just a common phenomena. I don't think it's me personally or anything like that, or there's anything wrong with me. I think everybody kind of thinks this way to some extent. It may be possible that I'm going through it more so than other people typically do. But it's just this concept of, I don't know, when you're a child, you kind of don't, there's not much weight on you anyway. You're kind of chill. You probably naturally try to put your best foot forward, but when you make a mistake, there's not much weight to it. Or at least it doesn't feel like it. You always kind of have a second chance. I guess some children it doesn't feel that way, but your conscience is not, you don't have to deal with what you've done is what I mean. When you're a child, everything's new, everything's fresh, everything's fine. There's not really anything wrong with anything that you do. It's all if you make a mistake, you've only made one mistake. So, you know what I'm saying? Or then you've only made 2, then 3, then 4. But it's as you get older, it becomes cumulative. I guess in some cases maybe the good that you've done in your life, and then in other cases it's the lack thereof. It's I think a lot of people in my age and generation, it's really the lack thereof. Because a lot of us haven't really accomplished much because we were just given so much noise in our face, our whole childhoods, and we're growing up in a time where people still really thought retirement was going to be a thing and everything would be all good, and then pretty quickly all that is now gone, and it's nobody's really interested in retiring anymore, and just all that comes with that. It's a very strange situation, I would say. It's a very strange scenario. And so, yeah, I just point that out. I guess I just point that out, how there was a lot of optimism at that point, and then it kind of vanished, The optimism that once was is now totally gone. And there's not much to that, It's how do you now we have like this generation that is just messed up, and I'm like a part of it, where it's like I had no idea, I didn't even think I would be in the position that I'm in now. Like, I really was just, and I still in some ways just feel kind of lost. And it's like, it's sad. It's a shame, Kind of thrown off because it looks like traffic's a little bit slow. Yeah, I just was not expecting that to be the case, but what can you do? And it's tricky because of the visibility is off. That's probably why. Anyways. Sorry, that's the only reason I guess I can't, the driving is a little bit weird and distracting right now. So, yeah, but it's like once you're older, it's like, ugh. And I want to be immortal because it seems kind of like that is the main thing. Like, it's always been kind of an aspiration of mine, but I just wonder, man, like what I feel like is I feel like I've lived longer than most people already. Just with the amount that I'm aware of, it's like I really have not been able to be a child. Like, for whatever reason, I put all this pressure and this weight of like comprehending things on myself. And I mean, in a lot of ways, I think it's just who I am. It's what I like, but it's heavy. A lot of the things I bear are so much heavier than like what most people casually interact with. It's not really, I guess sometimes I wonder like why I do it, or things like that. Is it really something I should be doing? But again, a lot of it's natural. I mean, it's the same way with why people do what they do. Like, you don't really think about things too much. You just don't really think about it. We all do what we do. And I just don't think there's that much to it. And for whatever reason, I was given a mind that was very hungry. Like a starving mind that has absorbed so much, and I feel so much older than I am. And in a lot of ways, I have my youthful, like, inexperience about things and whatnot. That's definitely something I deal with. Like, I don't know, because I don't want it to turn into an ego thing. Like, I'm trying to say how it's, like, not really a great thing. It probably has its advantages, but I haven't really seen it. It's almost like, I'm older than people expect me to be, and that causes its own, like, host of problems, just because, when I'm interacting with my peers and all, like, it doesn't really fit. But I always like talking to adults. I always have had good conversations with adults. I think some of my favorite conversations are always with, people older than me. And I think that, like, says something there to the point I'm trying to make. So I think that's why I feel that way. I guess I feel like I'm much older than I am, and the amount of things that I've tackled is just very, like, immense. Like, it's just a lot. It's a lot that I've gone through, and I, like, understand and whatnot. And it's about things that I think a lot of people tend to try to stay away from. Politics, problem with the systems, even in spirituality. A lot of people stay away from spirituality, or they don't get into it as deeply as I have, and that makes it kind of, it makes it difficult. it definitely makes it difficult to try to like learn these things and be trying to comprehend like the mysteries in life, whereas a lot of other people, they never even touch on it. They might go their whole life without really, they might go to church or something, but just not really thinking of any of these things. Like, it's weird. Why am I always so drawn to it? Like, it's just odd what I've been given, the mind and the experience. And I don't know anymore. I just feel like it's almost getting like difficult to live with myself anymore. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just not happy with being a human. There's just something off about it. I don't really like it. There's the human experience. It's very flawed. It's not a good experience. And I know other people have complaints, but my complaints they're different than other people's complaints. Like, my complaints about the human condition are getting into much different things. Most people complain about being a human because you have to wait for things, or life has its downs, or like, that's not even my complaint. I honestly think life's fine. Like I said, I want to be immortal. I think that's all cool. I think the problem is that my memory is higher than a lot. And so I really do have a memory of the past where, things I've done or whatever. And I guess a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't really, I don't think they remember what they do. So the weight is not really there for many people. Like, many people, I think they do a bunch of crazy stuff and then they just don't really remember it. So it's kind of easy for them to just move forward in life. It's not like anything difficult. But for me, my memory's pretty great. So I just remember so many moments, like growing up and all this stuff, and it's a lot in my head. I don't really get to live in the present because I'm constantly trying to think of the future, or I do have pretty substantial memories of the past. And this isn't really a bad thing per se, right? Like, it's definitely not like a bad thing, but I guess it seems that way. I don't know. It's like a tall burden to bear, if that makes any sense. Like, it's a hefty thing to carry with you to have memory. I think so many people, their life is just day to day, and that's it. And, there's a lot of pain in that too, seeing things like that. It's obviously very frustrating, but my life has almost never been day to day. And I've been blessed with a lot, because as much as I have anxieties about things, my life's always worked out. And it's not the case for everybody. Like, I have a very important luck that I've always had, a very important luck and a very important fortune. I haven't been so fortunate with friendships or social relationships. Those have always been kind of a struggle, and that's been painful for me. But I mean, everybody has their pain. At the end of the day, like, the only thing that could really be different about my life would be, more money. But I guess so many people can say that. The truth is, I've always had enough. I've never not had enough money. It just doesn't. I guess I could have had more sooner, because I would have wanted like better tech, but I think things played out like just okay. I don't really know. I've always been taken care of. It's like, so most of the weight, it just comes down to like memory and how much I remember. I remember my own mistakes, other people's mistakes, and it causes you to be judgmental even if you don't want to be. Like, I don't want to, but it just happens because you connect the dots, you remember things people do, you're reminded of things people have done, and you end up, as a consequence of that, just making judgments. I mean, it's something I don't know that I'm not doing or not doing. I mean, it would probably take conscious effort to not. But nonetheless, it's just like weird. And I'm hoping to get this concept down and then be able to put it into GPT to get some kind of insight about what I'm talking about. And yeah, I don't really think the same problem happens with other people. There's a few things, really. The first thing is that other people obviously don't hold themselves to as high of a standard as I do. So I think a lot of other people in my life and situation just wouldn't really care, and they'd probably just be happy and they wouldn't really think about any of this stuff. And they'd just be chill. And with me, I'm just not really that chill. Like, I've always felt like behind, or I'm like really having to work hard to try to like stay ahead or whatever. And I don't know, I'm just hitting like a point of exhaustion with that where I just can't. And I just think it's probably a common trope. Don't get me wrong. I think a lot of other people feel the way that I feel. But I don't know that it's to the same degree, mainly due to memory and mainly due to like my ability to know what my potential was and maybe is, and how like I'm just not really getting there. Nothing's really changing. Like, my life, I mean, it got really good really fast. It was a huge upswing. Like, I went from thinking I was going to be homeless someday to where I'm at now, which is like just holding down a job. The pay's low, but it's like, I don't know, like I'm doing well. I'm affording all the things I want, really, the tech and everything. Like, I don't really need more money. Sure, I don't have my dream car, but I mean, who does? That's like, it's just not something I care about. It's not, I'm like, but there's a stagnation now. Like, it's like I'm really in it for the long haul, and I really wanted to make that promise to myself to buy minimally in 2026, which I think and hope I will be able to adhere to. However, I'm not certain. I'm definitely not certain. And either way, there's still not really that much for me to look forward to. Like, even if I do kind of lose my mind and need to spend, it's there. I have all the big slices of cake already eaten. There's like not much cake left to eat. And the extra things that I want are not as important. Now, I think that's important to point out. It's like I picked all the fruit. There's only low-hanging fruit left, really, at this rate. And yeah, so I guess I do think there's like a real phenomena with that, where me being as old as I am, 23 years old. I know that seems like really stupid. I know my age. Don't think I could have more memories in my head with a greater detail than like a lot of people who are way older. That's what I have a feeling. Like, there's probably people in their 50s or 60s, which of course have more memories than people in their 20s. But I think I just have, it's all in my face, like everything. So I feel older. I feel like I've been through so much more, even if it's possible that I haven't. But a lot of my life's been emotional and mental stress. It hasn't been like physically hard. It's just been a bunch of people that, can't reciprocate where you're at. And that really wears on a soul. It wears on a soul, especially because I love people so much, but they're not really where I'm at. And then it's like very difficult. I mean, there's plenty of people who don't even like people. They like being a loner. And if I was like that, I'm sure I would also be super happy. There's like a very strange amalgamation of traits that they don't always work super well together, but I guess that could be a beautiful orchestration of my character, or at least we'd hope to think there's some kind of magical archetype to it all. But yeah, it's just the way I feel anymore. I feel like I'm trying to be good. I really did when I was a teenager. Everything felt like so possible still. It felt like I could. It felt like I still was dealing with a clean slate. But it's like over time, you just, you keep having to do more. You're more tired. Entertainment isn't as entertaining. Life just becomes so much more monotonous. You have to work now. Work is... And look, I'm blessed to have the job that I have. I'm incredibly blessed to have the job that I have, because there are people with so much worse lives and situations, and so I can't even imagine, I guess it's fated that I'm at where I'm at. I mean, it fits me characteristically that I'm just always in these situations where I have a lot of time to think, and there's like no pressure expectations put on me. That's basically been my whole life. My whole life is just, it's just like chill and like not really like, I don't even know what. But then socially, people put a lot. Outside of my career, outside of my school, school, no pressure on me at all. Career, job so far, super easy, no pressure at all for whatever reason. And then I just wonder, like, why? Like, why is it? It's almost like, oh, my parent too. My dad, like my parents, so laid back and easygoing, and I appreciate that. I think I've just, as I've gotten older, I appreciate my parents. At the time, though, I hated it, and still, I guess a part of me does, because most of my problems are a result of not being strict enough and feeling kind of like lost, and like things I do aren't remembered and they don't matter. And I think it's that in conjunction with my obsession with tech that is why I'm so obsessed with surveillance and everything being tracked, because I think in my head it makes me feel like I would finally be noticed and things would finally matter. And there could be something archetypal to that. There absolutely could be, that like in the beginning of my life, I'm like in this world wandering around almost as like an off the grid, totally slipped through the cracks individual. And then the second half of my life, it's crazy. Like tech starts ramping up, everything's tracked, and then it's like somehow all of a sudden I emerge out of nowhere as somebody who's just like able to handle it. Like I can just handle it pretty well. I've thought about that a lot, and I think that could be a possibility, but a part of me is nervous about that, just knowing like how It's a little bit overwhelming. Honestly, it just feels overwhelming to me, like in a big way, I guess. Like, I don't know. It just feels overwhelming. It feels very overwhelming to have to like deal with that kind of stuff. And just in my own memory, so like I can only imagine how overwhelming like a society would be like that. It's stressful. But I really think we're going to start seeing some huge changes, because I'm seeing news that like tons of people are already getting laid off. Like, I almost kind of thought like a lot of it's recorded too. When I was like semi-manic and into the GPT stuff and all my predictions and things, I'm almost like, I didn't think we'd see it that soon, but like I'm thinking about it. I'm seeing these headlines. With that many people losing like high-paying jobs, things could change like fast. It's no joke. Like I don't really know what to. I don't know. Things could get scary pretty quickly. So I'm starting to kind of think that the wheels might actually be in motion. Like, I don't know. It's weird, but I feel that way. I'm almost like, I guess I thought maybe the economy would roll a little bit longer, but it's like some weird stuff's going on. Some really weird stuff is happening right now. Like, it's not good. And it's, I don't know. I'm happy I have what I have, but in some ways I wish I would have just saved, but who knows? Who knows what's coming? I don't think people are as prepared as me. I'm still like a firm believer in that. I just, when I talk to people, the impression that I get is just like, I don't get the impression that they're ready. They're not. People have no idea what's coming. I think my finger is finally like on the pulse. Like, I was always thinking of the future and like predictions and things like that, but it's only recent, like literally right around when I started the show, or like 2025, like this year, I feel like a lot of my predictions and stuff kind of started to make more sense, because I was always thinking about the future and like making predictions and things, but it like really, a lot of them were kind of crazy or kind of out there, and it really seems like this year things really started to kind of make sense. I think a lot of the dialogue I've recorded on here, maybe not all of it, to be fair, but a lot of it seems pretty accurate. Like, I think I'm kind of seeing things play out now. I always kind of did, but a lot of my ideas, some of them pretty crazy. But yeah, it's interesting. But I know, like I'm saying, look at the headlines right now. Lots of companies are laying lots of people off. It's happening. The AI change is starting to happen, and you've had people warning us, politicians, philosophers, for a very long time, wise people. And yet the politicians we have are not really doing anything about it. And it's here. And we essentially have not planned for it adequately at all. And like, this is it. It's over. Like I really think we're gonna start seeing, like, my whole intuition about things may be more correct than I thought. But who knows? The predicting the future stuff, I guess it's not that important. I guess we should hone in, because we're going to be home like fairly soon. I want to say like 5 minutes. I don't know. Maybe longer than that, but around that, 6 minutes. Really want to hone in on that idea of just like feeling kind of sick of myself and, what I've been going through and all. And just like, maybe things really are about to change for me. Like, I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe I should start thinking, like, whatever at this point. Confidence. I mean, if I'm on the street, I'm on the street. It's like, it is what it is, but I just don't know anymore. I don't know who to think or who to trust or whatever. You know, it's weird. Just been such a weird situation how all this happened. I mean, I'm not super surprised. It's not like I'm shocked about ending up doing something like this. I've always loved talking. Always have. So it's not surprising. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I kind of got everything out. I mean, I don't know. I wanted to rewind and try to expand on the initial concept, but I think it kind of got droned out. And then it's like, at this point, I don't know. I don't know how to really expand on it, I guess. I guess that's how I feel. I just, like, I don't really know what else to add. Is that fair? It's like a shame, but what else is there to really get at? I don't know. I'm trying to consider what else would I have been getting at or going for. Yeah, I really don't know. What do I feel? Yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. I mean, it's like, I kind of just feel like on that note, like I'm ready to just wrap it, but we still have some time to talk, so I don't really know what else I'm going to add to it, though, because I seriously feel like I got nothing. I have no idea why. I just felt like it was weird. That, like, all that kind of came to me. It came to me in a very strange and like direct way. Like, it all just made sense. It all just like happened. And now I'm just like, wow, like, I don't know. I said that the car ride went by very quickly, but then now it's like it all stopped. Now everything feels a little bit slow. You know what I mean? It's interesting. It's interesting how I feel. But I'm kind of sensing there could be a strangeness. I guess I really do need to put more effort into, I've said this before, finding peace, just being chill, trying to get away with what I can while I can, you know? Because I don't know where else I'm headed, honestly, but I'm hoping I can get something out of GPT. Like, I really think this was an interesting episode. I mean, now it's not. I mean, you know, I don't know what happened. I'm just not interested in, like, it stopped coming to me. Like, there's nothing else for me to really, like, expand upon or anything like that. So it's just a wrap. Like, I don't really know what happened, but it is what it is. But I'm just so excited for that, to see because I really want to get more into it, but I can't do it now. Like, I have to put the transcript in GPT, see what that says, then ask questions, you know, like, really get further with things. I guess, you know, if we were smart enough and we had the system, I think it's going to be difficult, though, to do GPT while driving, I think, because I have to think about how to time the transcript to grab stuff. Because, like, I'm not always going to be able to do that. You know, it's tricky. Like, while you're talking, while you're driving, while you're recording, you'd have to, like, time because I don't want to have to repeat myself, and that's what I think it would turn into. It would turn into like I say something and then I have to like repeat it into GPT, and then as a recording, that kind of diminishes the quality of the recording. Like that's not really good. You try to avoid that kind of stuff, and I'm sure it's possible. I'm sure that I could end up, you know, implementing it in a way, or getting used to it where I could kind of like preemptively be transcribing things. But you know, even that like hair of hesitation or that hair of distraction, that can ruin things big time. You know, because when you're talking, I don't know if everybody who's listening really gets it, because you might not be as much of a talker as I am, but when you're like in the zone, like stuff like that can really throw things off. It's definitely not, you know, like you can really throw things off with that. That can just be like a blow, a death blow. Why am I saying it like that? That's definitely not what I'm. What is the saying with a blow? Like a kill? It's not. I know it's kill shot, death blow. I don't know. I'm pretty disappointed in myself for not being able to figure that out. Like, what am I doing? But yeah, it's so. I guess I feel a little bit better now for some reason. I'm not sure. I guess talking, it helps me. Sometimes it just does. Like, I just feel better. I had a lot of things rumbling around in my head. Oh, you know what? That actually reminds me of one of the last things I thought of. You can kind of rewind and reinsert this towards the beginning, but basically I feel like that feeling of like being older than you are, and like thinking about the future and kind of running out of things to experience or do, it's almost like I really am a very modern example of a human being. Like, I feel like that's really become me, because you look at like the engineering in some of these new cars, and it's like there's no visible vent adjustment, but you can adjust it with a screen. You know, and obviously that's cool. Like, aesthetically, it looks very sleek to not need the vent adjusters like manual, and it's like some mechanical thing going on like somewhere behind somewhere, so like you can't even see the vents or something, or you see less of them. Like, it's pretty cool. You know, it's definitely like a pretty cool design thing, but it's like it does not make any sense. There's like no reason how that would make sense, especially in like a vehicle. It just doesn't make any sense at all, because, you know, then you're like, but it is like a modern thing. It's very modern. It's very interesting and modern, but it's not good, you know? So that's kind of what's weird, I guess. It's like, yeah, that's just something I thought about. Like, I really feel like I just like zipped through things and I'm like way ahead of the game, but then that doesn't leave you like, I don't know. Like, now I like don't really know. I feel like talking is like the only vessel that even matters in this reality. Like, I don't know if that's a weird thing to say, but anymore, it just seems to be like the only like important thing for me to do is just to try to get better at interacting with AI, recording a lot. And if I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't even done much with GPT. Like, there was so many times today I did a transcript, I recorded, and then I was like, wow, like I really want to punch this in GPT, and I just didn't. Like, I guess it's just like laziness, but don't you think that's weird? Like, I haven't even been using it much. I just think that's kind of like weird, because I want to use it. I like using it. I did for a while. Like, for a while I used GPT so much, but then I don't really know what's going on. I'm just like, again, like I've really been in this like kind of mentality. Oh my gosh, it's been schla, but now it's time to buy schla. So, see ya, schla.